Welcome to a world where innovation meets opportunity. A marketplace that brings patented brilliance to life. Crafted by an award-winning inventor. Meet Neil Montgomery, a seasoned professional who cut his teeth with Fortune 500 powerhouses, winning accolades along his journey. The visionary behind the VIP success strategy, the Spark Report, and the Invent Idea app. Now, he's here to share his wealth of knowledge with you.
Thanks and welcome. Today's webinar, How to Patent and Sell Your Invention. These tips made me millions by me, Neil Montgomery. Now, who wants to make money on their ideas? Stay through to the end and I'll give away as many tips as I can in our short time together. Tips that have made me tens of millions since I first started with my inventions over 20 years ago. Sound good? Stay to the end and you'll learn how to stake your claim on your idea today for virtually nothing with zero risk and zero obligation. Sound good? All right, let's get started. In 1899, Charles H. Dewey, the then commissioner of the U.S. Patent Office, made a bold statement. He said, "Everything that can be invented has been invented." Now, as we stand in the present, surrounded by constant innovation, which allows me to talk to you today, and breakthroughs, we can confidently say that Dewey was mistaken. So, for all the inventors out there doubting their ideas, remember, the realm of invention is infinite. Your idea could be the next best thing. The only thing stopping you is you. Does that make sense? All right, here's an inspiring story that challenges the limits of human capability. For a long time, for forever, running a mile under 4 minutes was considered to be impossible. It was a barrier that seemed unbreakable. But there was one man, Roger Bannister, who refused to accept this prevailing belief. He was determined and undeterred by the odds. What do you think he did? 1954, Bannister did the unthinkable. He ran the mile in 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds, shattering the so-called impossible barrier. This led to what we now refer to as the Bannister effect. Since that day, over 1,400 athletes have broken the 4-minute mile. The lesson here is clear. With self-belief and determination, seemingly insurmountable obstacles can indeed be overcome. As inventors, it's essential to carry this spirit of persistence and belief in your journey. Now, what's your 4-minute mile barrier that's holding you back? Now, who feels this way now? Just one idea from changing your life forever. I feel that inventors have a special ability to see what others cannot. They challenge norms, push beyond conventional limits, and dare to think differently. But most importantly, they use these unique qualities to make the world a better place. As inventors, each one of you has the potential to affect change, to bring about innovation that can truly transform our world and yours too. How would being a successful inventor affect you? Think about it emotionally. How would realizing your invention change how you see yourself? Consider the personal effects. How would it transform your everyday life to get everything you've ever dreamed of? Professionally, how might your peers perceive you differently? And in terms of relationships, marriage, and so on, how could this alter your closest personal bonds? It's crucial to understand the profound impact it can have on all facets of your life. We are all trying to avoid being like this guy, right? Does that sound familiar? Now, who's been in these shoes before? That's a horrible feeling, right? Seeing a product that you know you had first but either did nothing or failed because you couldn't or didn't know what to do. I mean, that's the whole point of this presentation and what we do here. Now, what if you had one of these ideas here first, right? You've all seen these before and probably have some floating around the house somewhere. These are all household names we all know. These brought their inventors millions. Wouldn't that be awesome? But would you know what you would have done or where to start if you did get one of these ideas? I mean, how do you start? That's the main goal of this presentation. Show you how to get started. I'm going to show you a trick that nobody talks about to stake your claim right away today. Cost is basically nothing. There's no risk. There's zero obligation. Are you ready? Our team has been assisting inventors for decades. and helped get over 3,000 issued patents for inventors making hundreds of millions in that time. It would be impossible to cover everything we know and do for inventors in a short presentation, so we broke them into sections that you can take as you're ready. If you'd like to skip this and work with the product manager now to get the ball rolling, feel free and jump ahead and contact them as you wish. You should have their contact number on email. Our phone number is here if you want to call. For everyone else, we'll continue. Sound good? Just a quick disclaimer. We are not a legal law firm. We do work with independent firms though. This is not legal advice, and always consult a patent attorney for specific questions. And if you want, we can recommend them. True or false? You have an idea that you know will sell. And true or false on these next few questions, if one of these describes you. You don't know what to do with it. You've tried and failed in the past, or you're just trying to see what options you might have. If you're an everyday inventor and have an idea that you know will sell, you came to the right place. I know how you feel because I felt the exact same way when I got started on my idea and found some solutions to the most common problems. The goal of this presentation is to show you the tips that helped me make tens of millions off my inventions and hundreds of millions through our network. I'm going to show you how you can copy and ethically steal these tips for yourself and your invention. The goal for this very presentation is show you how to own your idea, how to get started today for virtually nothing, how to save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get started. Okay, now what if I could show you a trick that helps solidify that you have an idea, saves you hundreds, if not thousands to get started in no time at all, and costs virtually nothing with zero risk, zero obligation, right? Would you be willing to get started? All right, now why is owning your idea important? Well, it proves you own it. It's virtually impossible to sell an idea without proof of ownership, such as a patent, a trademark, a copyright, etc. Otherwise, it's just your word against others. Now, consider selling a house. You need the deed to prove you own it, right? It makes sense. Imagine selling a house without a deed, right? You couldn't do it, right? Take selling a car, for example. You need a title to prove you own it, right? Imagine selling a car without a title, right? It doesn't make any sense. But patents are expensive, right? Yes, they are. They can be tens of thousands of dollars. Patent attorneys can easily spend $1 million or more on schooling and take years of training, just 8 years just in school alone. So that comes with high hourly rates of $500 or more. And there's still no guarantee of success. Less than 50% get issued. Now, what if there was a better way, a more affordable way? Would that be better? How about doing it all on your own? Sure, it's possible. And with enough time and energy, it may work. You should know that most fail. Patents almost never get issued when filed with this method because you don't know patent law and the ins and outs of how to file and get a patent issued. What if there was a better way? What if there was a way where you didn't have to do it all yourself and you can rely on others who have been down the road before and are invested in your success? Would that be better? Now, how about cheap provisional patents? Well, they're usually not worth the paper they're written on. There's a reason that they are so cheap. They never get reviewed at the patent office. They almost never go to issuance unless converted to a non-provisional patent. Then you're back to very expensive land, right? And they're usually not enabled. Enabled is just basically a fancy term for you can't describe it well enough, right? If I came up with a time machine invention, I would need to describe how it works or I don't get the rights. You need more than just an idea in a cheap provisional patent. Want to know a better way? I know what you're thinking. An invention company, they'll know exactly what to do to help me. Unfortunately, they don't get patents issued because they're not patent law firms. They outsource work, so back to very expensive or cheap and not good. Now, many of these companies have been shut down, leaving inventors broke with nothing to show for it, right? And they have sketchy online reputations at best. I'm here to tell you that there is a better way. You may be asking, why do I know? And what makes me qualified to give advice? So I've been through the process. I've had the ups and downs and hardships. and what I developed along the way can help you. I developed the VIP success strategy for inventors. Now, who am I now? I'm CEO and founder of ForSaleByInventor.com. I've helped integrate services for inventors with over 3,000 issued patents to date, the largest online marketplace of patented products for license in the world, products selling worldwide. I've made tens of millions using these tips off my inventions. I'm also the Invent Idea app creator. Now, where did I come from? Before this, Fortune 500 companies, Pfizer and Genzyme, won some awards, sold hundreds of millions of dollars in pharmaceutical and lab sales. Now, how did this help prepare me? It didn't help at all. Here's material of my first round of handmade products. Took forever, tied up capital, and wasted years of time. Here's my first handmade prototype. First trade show, sold very few units. It was a complete failure. Here's my family back in 2011. These kids, I risked their entire college education. It was over $100,000. My products arrived late, after Christmas, collapsed under their own weight. Take a look at that pic, right? It still gives me nightmares, right? I nearly lost the entire inventory to mold as water leaked through the roof of the warehouse. But eventually, I'm still here. I came out the other side, committed to success, developed a game plan, the Spark Report and VIP success strategy. I ended up crushing the trade shows, won awards, sold out in months, and created a category that still sells millions of dollars. And now I offer these services to help save everyday people time and money. Why did I go through this? I'm just a glutton for punishment. I mean, I had a decent job, great pay, great benefits. I had a burning desire inside of me to make a difference. I knew that I couldn't live with myself, knowing I had a good idea that would sell and eventually see someone else come out with the exact same thing and make money. Would you feel the same way? I mean, do you feel that way now? The biggest learning lesson, get started and invest in you. Now, you have two options basically. Option one, play the lottery, right? What are the odds? 1 in 292 million roughly, right? But most people spend almost 10% of their income on it. Option two, which I think is a better option, invest in yourself and your future. 100% of inventions fail if they never get started. The odds of success increase 100-fold simply by starting. There's two ways for you to invest right now: time and money. Time is submitting the record of invention, reading the ebook and free materials, researching online and doing a free patent search, and watching the entire training sessions like this. So what you can do now, submit your record of invention if you haven't done so already. The benefits to you proves you started working on your idea. It's time-dated copy sent right to you digitally, right? It's 100% confidential, no cost, no obligation. Free invention idea review. It takes under 15 minutes to complete. It's really simple. Here's an example. We just need to know the name, what it is, what it does, and how it works. Then send in a drawing or pictures if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and fill out after the presentation. Okay, do a free patent search. Download the Invent Idea app, search for patents, and see if there's anything similar. Competition sells this service for hundreds of dollars, and we give it away for free. Contact your product manager for help if needed. It's a great resource and a great way to start before wasting time and money. All right, maybe you got the time but aren't ready for a major investment. All right, we've made that easy. Want to learn how? All right, bottom line, your chances of success will increase automatically simply by getting skin in the game. We make this as easy and comfortable as possible by offering tremendous value for just a micro order. $7.97 is a hard price to beat, right? Anybody ever pay this much for a coffee? For basically the price of a cup of coffee at a lot of places, you'll get a digital download worth more than $200. Anybody ever pay more than $3 on gas? How about $4? For about 4 gallons of gas or a beer at a ball game nowadays, we'll mail you everything, including a copy of your record of invention. Okay, here's what you get in return. The Inventor's Cheat Sheet for $30 value, Inventor's Journal, $50 value, Record of Invention Certificate, $20 value. How can you say that's not a great deal? Am I right? Sound reasonable so far? Good. All right, go ahead and get started at any time while I go ahead and go through the presentation. You'll get the Inventor's Cheat Sheet and the Inventor's Journal along with a copy of your record of invention. Looks good, right? Want to know what this bad boy can do for you? It proves that you own the invention. That's right, for virtually no money, like I said in the beginning of this presentation. You want to know how? Here's a trick that nobody ever talks about. The 1-year grace period in patent law. A grace period is a set length of time after a due date during which an obligation may be met without penalty or cancellation. In patent law, this refers to the time allowed for inventors to disclose their inventions publicly before filing a patent application. This grace period in the U.S., as per the American Invents Act, lasts up to 1 year from the date of first public disclosure. All right, we've got this information straight from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The advantages for everyday inventors. You can use this grace period to gauge market response without spending on immediate patent filing. You can get investors. Public disclosure can help attract potential investors to fund a patent application or product development. You can refine your invention, gather feedback, and make improvements before finalizing your patent application. It saves hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for you, right? Here's some considerations and cautions. Be aware, not all countries recognize this grace period. International patents should be filed before public disclosure. Always document your disclosures to establish the start of the grace period. Remember, it's a race to the patent office. If another files a similar invention within your grace period, you may lose your patent rights. Good idea, just use non-disclosure agreements or keep it to yourself until you're ready. And always consult with a patent attorney. Remember back to the beginning of the presentation, just one idea away from changing your life forever. Who still feels this way? Well, it's partially true. You're one implemented and invested idea away from changing your life forever. It's part of the VIP success strategy. Vision plus implementation equals success. Here's my personal experience. I committed over $100,000 in inventory. I had two options, fail and quit or make it work. You have to crawl before you walk. It's not how often you fail, it's how often you get back up. Remember, it's always darkest before dawn, and you can't lose if you never stop. Things happen when you just get into the game. Why trust us? The for sale by inventor difference levels the playing field for inventors and integrates the following areas to save inventors time and money, like protection, patents, copyrights, trademarks, etc. Engineering and technical, marketing. Inventors typically save over 60% with our services. And we have over 3,000 issued patents. We know what we're doing. We've integrated this entire process to give you everything you need to succeed with your invention idea. Timing, you want to know the best time to start? It was yesterday. The next best time is right now, right? They are not giving away prizes or second place at the patent office. Here's a few more examples of our success. More can be found on our website. I'll highlight this one right here. The breakaway IV valve was licensed off of For Sale by Inventors virtual trade show page. They got funding for over $5 million and are still growing. We've done this for a long time, and you can find thousands of 5-star reviews online. I'll close this presentation with one of my favorite sayings from Les Brown. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. That's the end of the presentation. Go ahead and get started right now by documenting your idea, staking your claim, and getting started on your journey. If for any reason you're not satisfied, we have a money-back guarantee. There is literally no risk whatsoever to you at all. Now I'm going to answer some questions, so feel free to stay or go. If anything isn't covered here, please reach out to your dedicated product manager. All right, now for example, we get this question a lot. How do I know my idea is safe with you? Okay, your record of invention form certifies that this is your invention and that you have begun work on it. Since the United States is a first to file country, it can help start the patent process, okay? The record of invention form also has a confidentiality statement signed by me. A confidentiality agreement means that no one, including us, can do anything with your invention idea without your permission. If you tell a friend or family member about your idea without submitting this form in, you risk somebody else stealing your idea. You see, our specialty is helping inventors develop their inventions, and this form helps protect you. You're 100% safe, and the best part is, this first step is free. All right, another one we get all the time. I'm very skeptical of doing business over the phone. Being skeptical is very understandable, and I can certainly understand your concern. However, we have a confidentiality agreement that is signed by me that protects you. When you share an idea with us on our Record of Invention form, you will receive back a signed and time-stamped copy for your records. Confidentiality and the protection of your intellectual property is at the core of our business. Here's another question we get all the time. Is this going to cost me anything? There is no cost or obligation for submitting your idea for our professional review. After the review, you'll get a private consultation with an invention specialist and recommendations on how to achieve your goals. If you want our professional help with something that you can't do yourself, then we'll make you a written proposal. Of course, you'll be under no obligation. So, to answer your question, at this point, the costs are nothing, right? All right, here's a question we get. How much will everything cost? Since I have no idea what your idea is or how far along it has been researched and developed, it's really impossible to give you specific details right now. There is no cost or obligation for a written professional review, private consultation, and recommendations. After that, we can talk specifics. Whatever the costs, if any, you'll get it in writing first with no obligation. All right, some people tell us, hey, I want to get a patent first. You will still need to complete the Record of Invention form and return it back to our offices so we can get started on the patent process. After we see exactly what you have, we can talk specifics. All right, a lot of people say, I'm going to discuss this with my lawyer first. You should do what you think is in your best interest, of course, right? I certainly would. But most attorneys are not licensed to practice patent law. Let me remind you that we utilize registered patent practitioners, and further, you're protected by our confidentiality statement. Anyway, right now, all you need to do is supply the basics so we can provide you with a written evaluation and our professional recommendations at no cost or obligation. A lot of people think, oh man, my idea has already been invented. You may see similar ideas to yours, but as an example, there are hundreds of patents on various toothbrushes that all serve the same function, yet we all have our personal preference as to which type is the best. Every product can be improved, and even if existing products have only left small spaces for improvements, but if those small spaces are correctly filled by the right invention, it can generate profits for the inventor. So my advice is complete the confidential Record of Invention form and send it back so that we can assess. There is no cost to do so, nor any obligation. Some people want references that they can talk to. If you would like, check out our website. It lists our client success stories, as well as a virtual trade show where you can browse through hundreds of the inventions we represent. Our company slogan is honesty through transparency. So we are happy to show you our work. However, we are bound to protect our inventors' privacy as well, so we can't provide you with contact information. All right, thanks for watching, and we look forward to helping you bring your invention idea to life.